Hey everyone, Robert here, and today we're going to talk about that annoying time that you can't get online. Okay, there are several things that you can check out before you start getting into a cold sweat by being cut off from the information superhighway in all of your social networks. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to break it down into 4 areas to check. One is to check your computer hardware. Make sure all the hardware is working. Make sure that we go online to check out different sites and things like that. 2, check your external hardware, your routers, your modems, any Wi-Fi type of ports that you may have. And 3rd, we need to check and make sure that there isn't something broken that is outside of your home. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one, and that is checking to make sure that your hardware is working.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into the device manager on your computer. Now, I am running Windows 10, so how I get to the device manager may be a little bit different than how you get to it, depending upon your operating system. But in essence, we're all going to the same place. So I'm going to show you on Windows 10 how I get there, and then I'll explain along the way how you get there if you're running Windows XP or something maybe a little older. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the search here portion, and we are going to type in Device Manager. Now it may pop up even before, but this is what we're wanting. Now this is the hub that will show you all of your hardware that is on the computer, and as you can see, everything is here that I have on this particular laptop. Now what we are going to want to zero in on are your network adapters. Now if your network adapters were not there, or if they have some problems with the drivers are is the software that speaks from your operating system, like Windows XP, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows Vista, to the hardware. It drives instruction to your hardware. Now if there were any problems with your drivers, this would probably be expanded. Your network drivers would be expanded, and you would probably see a yellow exclamation point here, or even the potential of an X, a red X. But that basically means that there's something wrong with your drivers, or the hardware itself has malfunctioned. Now, it is a good idea for you to take a snapshot of everything whenever it's working properly, so that you can see whenever you're online, hey, all of this stuff is doing just fine, and I don't really need to worry about it, or at least you have a baseline comparison as to help you try and troubleshoot your computer. Now on mine, everything seems to be working, but you need to be a little bit familiar with what you've got on your computer, which is again the reason why you need to take a snapshot. Now you can do that either with your phone, or you can go and press the print screen key, which is up near the top right hand corner above the backspace key usually, or it may be above your number keypad, but in any case it'll say print screen, PRTSC, and then once you do that, you can open up a graphics application and paste. All you'll have to do is paste it into your graphics application, like MS Paint or the application of your choice. The print screen option places an image, a screen captured image, onto your clipboard, and then you can put it onto your graphics application, then save it as an image, or print it out and save it for your records. But in any case, this is how we get to the device manager on your Windows 10 operating system. Now, if you are running something like Windows XP, the start menu is going to look a heck of a lot different. And what you are going to do is you would be going to your My Computer icon and right click on it, and through your context menu you are going to see an option entitled Manage, and then it will bring up a window that will show you the device manager. So that's how you would go about doing that.
Okay, now that we've checked out your hardware on your computer, let's check the external stuff and make sure that it's working. So let's look at your router and your Wi-Fi access point. Okay, we're in the bowels of my house, and this is usually where a lot of people have their external hardware that connects them to the internet, that's given to them by their internet service provider. Now for me, I go through Suddenlink, and I have all of my services bundled: my phone, my cable, my internet. And these are the boxes that they have given me. Now, what I do is, or what I did, is that whenever the internet is working, I took a little bit of video, or a picture. You can do a picture as well, but I wanted to see what the devices looked like whenever they were working properly. All the lights that were flashing, everything like that. That way I can have sort of a baseline as to what things look like. Now, depending upon who you go through, you may have your router and your Wi-Fi access located in one piece of machinery. Not so with me. So what we have to do now, if everything here is working, we have to go to our wireless access point. Okay, so for me, I have to buy an extra wireless access point, and I use Linksys. So this is the second piece of hardware that we can check to see if our internet connection problems aren't existing here. Now, with this and with your particular router, what you can try and do is you can try and unplug it and then plug it back in. Now, sometimes a reset like that will help your connection issues. But what we want to look for with this, as well as your router from your internet service provider, make sure that it's getting power, make sure that all of the LEDs are on that are supposed to be on, and this is at least one area that we can check to see if our internet connection problems are here. So check the equipment and make sure that everything's getting power and all the lights are working, the lights that are supposed to be on or off or whatever. But in any case, you can unplug them for like about 10 seconds. You can do that to all of them and then plug them back in. Allow a little bit of time for everything to reset before you try this again. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to check and get a little geeky here and check and see if there isn't something broken along the way. Now, you can do this on your computer and you don't have to have internet access, but you have to get into some interesting little bit of software. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this on your computer, and I'm also going to show you how to do this on your mobile device, and that is running a trace route.
Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to do a trace route to find possible broken parts of the internet. And we're going to do this through the command prompt, and it may look a little bit intimidating, but really it isn't. So I am running Windows 10 right now, and the way I go about it may be a little bit different on how you go about it depending upon the operating system you have. What you can do is you can either go to the search here function, or you can go to the start menu function of your operating system if you're running Windows 10 or something similar. But in either event, you are going to want to get here and you're going to type in command, and which will bring up the desktop app command prompt. Now it's going to look up a little bit of code here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to input the command traceRT, which is short for traceroute. TRACERT, and then leave a space, and then what you're going to do is type in a website that you know is going to have very little chance of failing, like Google or CNN or Fox, but you've got to make sure that it's a site that is very well known and has very little chance of failing. So we're going to go ahead and type in Google, google.com, and then hit enter. Now what this is doing right now is it's running through this trace route, which is logging in all the stops and all the places that it has to go to get to the particular spots on the internet so it can go to the final destination, which is google.com. Now what we're seeing is all of these different lines are different pit stops. Think of them as like if you're going from here to across the country or somewhere on a long journey, you're going to make stops at different gas stations and you're going to get off on different exits. This is exactly what is going on the Information Superhighway. These are the exits where my particular signal is going to be able to get to Google. Now at some hoops it takes a little longer to go through, and this may be a cause of congestion. So if you're on your browser and going to Google may be a little bit slow, well, as you can see, some of it goes quite a bit faster than the others. And we can see the milliseconds. That's what this portion is right here, ms, milliseconds. And we can see that some areas take a little bit longer to go through than others. Now, if there was something that was broken, I couldn't get to Google, what this enables me to do is say, okay, this first hoop, and this is what it's called, a hoop, this first hoop that is going through is just fine, but if you see like asterisks right along in here or somewhere along in the path, it means that something is broken. It could be a fiber optic that is cut, or a particular server along the way is having problems. What this enables you to do is say to yourself and maybe to the tech person, okay, there is nothing wrong with my computer, there is nothing wrong with your service or the hardware, the problem lies elsewhere. Now if you really wanted to get kind of geeky and find out different options that you can do with this particular command, you can do this. You can type in traceroute and then /?. Now you can do this with any command, and what it does is it gives you options for that particular command. You can click on that and you can see all of these what are called operators that you can incorporate into the traceroute, and I'm just showing you this as a caveat. So let's go ahead and take a look at doing a traceroute to Facebook. And it's important to note that you don't need to put the HTTP : / or any of that stuff before. Just put in the site's name and the extension, the .com or the .org or the .edu. Let's find out what happens with Facebook. So it's going through its typical stuff, and at the beginning of its journey, a lot of this stuff is going to be the same. For me, I go through Suddenlink, so it only stands to reason that I'm going to see a lot of Suddenlink stuff. But we see once it gets out of the Suddenlink network, it starts handing things off to other servers and other service providers. But in any case, from 1 to however many hoops it takes to get there, and the last hoop is typically your final destination. So we can see that right now I'm functioning just fine. And nothing is getting in the way of me getting from here to Google or here to Facebook. Now what I want to show you is, if you're not on a computer, how you can do a trace route on your mobile device. So let's take a look at that. Okay, this is how we do a trace route using a mobile device, and I have downloaded an app off of the Apple Marketplace, and this app may exist on the Android Marketplace, or there may be something similar. What you would do to go into a search is find your search portion of your App Store and search for traceroute. It should give you similar apps, and usually these things are free. Don't pay anything because simply it's not really necessary. And if not, there are other online versions that you could go to your browser. Now what we're going to do is this free little app, we're going to go in and check it out. It's called nTrace. So we're going to open this up, and up in the upper, or at the very top here, I have already inputted CNN.com. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a trace route, and you input your URL of choice, and you don't really have to put in the HTTP stuff, just put in your site name and the .dot extension that's there, and we're going to go ahead and click on search. And right now it's going through and pinging. The nice thing about this is that it gives you a map to look at, and it shows what is going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom this out a little bit, and you can click on any of these little pins that are there and click on the little information button, and it shows you all of the URLs and all of the IP stuff that is there. And you can do the same thing for here. And this is nice because it gives you what is there, and we can see that we can get from here to there, and it shows you the trace route. And again, it's the same thing as the command prompt that we did on the computer, but this gives you a bit more of a visual type of viewing that's going on here. Let's go ahead and try Google. Google.com and search. And once again, it's starting from my home, and it's pinging, and it's going here and there and everywhere. It's really quite an interesting thing to see because you can see all of the hoops that it goes through by tapping on the pins and tapping on the information button. And we can see that we can get from our point, which is in Trenton, or at least for me, which is in Trenton, and I can get in here and check out all of the things that are there. So this is another little visual trace route program that you can use. And it's free, and like I said, you'll use this maybe a few times, but not a whole lot. Now the trick to this is, if you'll notice in the upper left hand corner, you will see that I am on my Wi-Fi network. This has to be on the same network in question that you usually go on and are having some problems getting online. It doesn't do you any good to be on someone else's network because their network may be fine, and if you have a tablet or a mobile device that is on Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile, it doesn't do you any good to be on their network if things are fine. The point is to be on the network that you're having problems with. So that is the tablet portion of how to check a trace route.
Okay, I hope this helps. I hope that the next time that you will go online, you can do all these things to sort of narrow down a problem. That way, whenever you call someone like me, a computer repair person, or someone else, or try to fix it yourself, you'll be able to narrow things down, and hopefully you'll be not offline as long as you would like.